behind the window at the clinic. Takes your dollars.
Very pleasant.
He's already done a bunch of stuff too, so he's bring him up here.
We're getting in January. Very pleasant.
You ready? I'm ready. So we'll call the meeting to order. You want to call the roll?
Mr. Barker? Here. Mr. Farley?
He's out due to death and family.
Mr. Grooms? Here. Dr. Houghton?
Here.
Mr. Ellis?
Here.
Mr. Rich?
Here.
Mr. Goodwin?
Here.
Mayor Goodwin? Yeah.
All right, so we'll have the invocation by Councilmember Barker, followed by the pledge.
Lord, thank you for the opportunity to serve the citizens of this great city. Help us to act in good faith and with best intentions. Help us see the humanity and dignity of those with differences of opinion and to treat all persons with the reverence your creation deserves. Renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of togetherness as we build a stronger community worthy of all. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So, one thing on the mayor's comments tonight, there will be a final blood drive Thursday, December the 15th from 9 o'clock till 3 at the Tide at Folly Beach. According to Mr. Miller, you still have appointments available from 10 a.m. to 2:45. So you can sign up at redcrossblood.org and search for sponsor code Folly. Or I'm sure if you show up without an appointment, they'll work you in. So that's Thursday, December the 15th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Tides Hotel. Be a hero, donate blood for the holiday season. They can always use some, I'm sure. Other than it was yes, you and Lacey did a phenomenal job at the parade. And all your helpers, everybody that participated, I think it all went well.
It's the best.
Wes stepped in when Ms. Dees has been out because of an operation and did a wonderful job. I understand he used to do that in his other life some, so he was herding cats as well as you can herd cats on Saturday morning. And with that, we'll go to staff reports. Mr. Pope.
So, filling in for Lacey for an update on city-sponsored recreational programs. When she came on board, we tasked her with reviewing the current recreational offerings that we kind of loosely refer to as city-sponsored. These are programs that were originally recruited, providers that were recruited by the city and off and on managed by the city over the last few years. So she's going down the list. Basketball and tennis are off the table for the time being in terms of city-sponsored providers. That leaves us with soccer and yoga. She'll have a report in January for a recommendation for soccer, but this month we're looking at the city-sponsored recreational yoga. Over time, our city-sponsored yoga has, for lack of a better word, become informal. There's no contract, there's no set agreement. It's not a bid process. It's just we have a provider. Every year or so, we grant her permission to do certain things in the park. It's really become kind of an informal thing. So Lacey was looking at ways to codify and formalize that agreement. We have rules in the park which say there's no commercial use of the park, but we also don't pay the yoga instructor. So it's kind of a situation where the city reached out and said, "Hey, could you start a yoga program? We're not going to pay you, and you can't take money." So that's a untenable situation. So the idea that we came up with was to make the city-sponsored yoga a franchise, to grant formal permission from the city for a commercial activity on public property, to allow the yoga instructor to charge for services. And as a franchise, that meets several of the goals that we've kind of talked about in general about revamping our recreational programs. It creates a contractual obligation with clear language on both sides for expectations. It officially sanctions possible commercial activity on public property. It allows the vendor selection to be a public and transparent process. We would put this out in the world for responses and then have you guys evaluate them and vote on a franchise award. It would also standardize the start and end dates of the performance period. Right now, each of the recreational programs has kind of been operating on a different schedule. Some of them are one-off camps, some are ongoing. All of them ended on November 26th, and then we actually had some extensions of those. Again, so this would standardize and make crystal clear from the beginning the start and end of the contract period. And also we create a more robust reporting program, so we actually know how many folks are participating on what days, where they're coming from, what is the audience. And so our proposal is to make yoga in the Folly River Park a franchise similar to the beach franchise. The initial term would be 1 year and cover the 2023 business license year and allow for 4 annual extensions. If you guys are okay with the idea of making a franchise, we would put this out and hope to award the bid in February and then go from there.
When do we get to voice our opinions on this or tell you or take a vote on it?
I mean, right now, we're
Okay.
here to find out if the idea of a franchise lives or dies.
We just received an email earlier this evening that said their community yoga, they'd rather it be just like it is and they're fine. So I think we drop it and stop over commercializing personally. Especially with that email. If they're fine and they can work it out with themselves with us not paying anybody, they're doing it as a community event, then let's not create a mountain out of a molehill. Let's just leave it alone.
And if she's not charging money, does that make it commercial?
That's what I'm saying. She's
Yeah, I
not, she's
know. I
not
mean,
charging
they
money.
pretty much-
We're not paying her, so it keeps it as it is with no money involved, and it's truly a community
Right.
thing that community members are getting together and doing. Just like if the Senior Citizen Club has a meeting at the community center, or it's almost something very similar to that. So let's not overcomplicate it with a
club.
franchise.
So prior to the email that we received 30 minutes before the city council meeting, we were under the impression that there was not a fee, but donations were accepted. And donations do make it a commercial activity under our ordinances. But Councilman Rich is correct that if the Folly Beach Community Yoga Group, as an independent citizens group, free of charge, friend group who gets together and practices yoga together, is happy and thriving and ready to be on their own, the city could be out of the yoga business.
She'll not stay.
She'll discontinue accepting donations.
We would have to discuss that with.
So to get back to Councilman Rich's concern first time was not having any commercial activity in the park. So if she's gonna accept donations and that by the rules and regulations, making it commercial activity, then it wouldn't be in the park.
Seems like it's gonna come up again later
Oh.
tonight too.
Hmm?
Seems like it's gonna come up again later tonight too in a little while, so we'll get plenty more time to talk about commercialization. I think we need to look at that ordinance again and tweak a couple words in there. Cause once again, we have a request tonight for something commercial going on at the community center that by law we should say no to, but we're gonna, I'm sure, because it's a community thing, we're gonna say yes. So we need to tweak some language in there that if it's for resident
Yeah.
usage, some level is okay. I mean, something. You know, because we keep voting against our laws every month.
I'm not sure that what's coming up later on that you would wanna say yes to it, because we stopped a group from doing stuff in there that they claim was also a community activity, could be community activity, and they were making money at it. So this is strictly a commercial activity. I would think you would say no.
Well, I've thought that before, and I was wrong. So if we're gonna keep voting against our own rules, then we should just change the rule. That's, you know.
Okay, I'm reading a 5:30 email, which I didn't read till right now, but is that, I'm just trying to, the same yoga group that we're discussing, same exact?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
And they'll show up for
we're just looking for guidance of whether you guys are interested in pursuing a franchise or not, especially given the most recent information.
No.
But we're not voting.
Yeah, no votes.
Well, consensus is you don't want a franchise.
Right, yeah.
All right,
Stop that man of work.
all right, thank you.
Okay, so we have approval of the agenda, have a motion to approve
Second.
without exception. Approval of the minutes from November the 8th, have a motion to approve.
Second.
Is any additions or corrections?
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms.
Yes.
Mr. Barker,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin.
Yes. So down to personal appearances, Ms. Hinton, if you can make your way into the council center, council chamber. You'll give us your name and address and tell them what you're here for.
Hello, everyone. I'm Paula Hinton, and I have been a resident for 29 years, and I live at 1744 East Ashley. So I'm excited to be here. Boy, it's nice and cool now in here. I'm here to ask for a special usage for the community center. And what it is I want to bring Ageless Grace, which is a exercise dance program, to the community, and it is for people who are 55 and older. And in order to do that, I want to bring the trainer from North Carolina to do training for educators. She calls them educators to teach. And it is something that's done in a chair, so that even if people are in a wheelchair or a cane, they can do it. So most people can do it. And Denise Medved is from North Carolina. She has her own Ageless Grace website. She has a TEDx talk that tells about all the benefits of it. And I just she has such a great community in North Carolina. I wanted her to come down here. She doesn't usually do training anymore. She has a whole training staff, but I wanted her to come to Folly and perhaps plant the seed here so that we can encourage people to take the training. We have about 4 or 5 people on Folly right now who want to take the training, and I hope that there will be about 10 to 20 people altogether. And then I'd like to be able to, like I said, plant the seed here and help the trainers, learn how to teach, including myself. I'm kind of a reluctant teacher, but I want to take the classes, and so I'm going to take the training. And so that we can, have teachers that not only will do the classes for Folly, but will do it in the area. And when she comes to do the training, there will be free class for Folly residents, Ageless Grace, and a free class. She's also a Mia dance teacher. So there will be those 2 free classes. And then when we get trainers like me who have been trained, then we will offer Ageless Grace here in Folly, at no charge to the residents. Any questions?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
So this lady is coming free of charge. This is not.
Well, it's not free of charge. I need to tell you
Okay.
that part.
Is there a club? Is there like a young women's club that you're associated with that is sponsoring this, that's doing it, or is it something that, like we were just talking about, is it something that participants are gonna have to pay for? Because right now that is against our rules.
I know.
I would have to say no to it tonight, but I do plan on let's look at these and see what we can do to open some of this up. It sounds like a great thing, but we've said no commercialization of these spots. If it's through a club or something, then maybe that's something that I would like to approach next month after about allowing. But right now, technically, no matter what it's got to say, it is against our ordinance.
I know that. I thought
Okay.
I believe in miracles, and I thought I would come anyway. So, yeah, I just think it would be really good for the community. But there would be no money exchange, but the trainer does charge for the training. It's a 3-day training, and that's part of why I needed the community center, because I couldn't really use a church, Friday,
Right.
Saturday, and Sunday. And then she does offer 1 free training to someone, which is about $390.
This
that-
isn't
that a resident
time
would have.
restrictive. Like it's not like a holiday type thing in January. This can be. You can give us a month or 2 maybe to look at some things and then come back if we decided to change some things around our ordinances.
Yeah, I'd like to say yes. I've been waiting to do the training, and we may just go ahead, I don't know, but we may just go ahead and do it on James Island. I just really wanted to do it at Folly, you know, start it here in our community.
Right.
So I don't know, but, you know, that's a possibility.
Okay.
I just have another question. So you wanna be trained and you
Yes.
want other people to be
Yes.
trained. And so that is what the payment is between you
Mhm.
and the trainer.
Yes.
Okay, and I mean, this is here. What's the time frame?
Well, the training is like Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday. So it'd have to be a time when the community center is open. And during that time is when we can have, she would do a free class of ageless grades for the community. And then also when she's a dance teacher, then she would do that class for free. And then afterwards, they would be free for the community, but, you know, we've gotta have the training. And they do training now, but it's online. And I want personal training, you know, and then I wanna be able
Right.
to have other people that are doing it with me so we can support each other.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So to clarify, you're not charging attendees any fee, but you or an organization is paying this woman to come and be on hand?
Well, yes, well, I'm not really an organization, no, I'm just an individual that's sponsoring her here, and I have 4 or 5 other people in Folly who are interested in taking the training.
Right. So to
They
me, that
pay
doesn't,
they pay for the training.
it doesn't feel like
They pay for the training. Once they pay for the
commercialization.
training, they
So
don't pay for classes.
I would understand that. I would characterize that in the context of the Civic Club. If the Civic Club wanted to pay a speaker to come and address their audience, their membership, I also wouldn't view that as a commercial activity in our public space.
You have to be careful now because I understood her to say, if you take the training, you're gonna pay this trainer to train you. She's not gonna pay this trainer a fee to come down here to train you for free.
But I thought I also heard you
But
say
there's one can come.
no money's gonna change hands between any
No, that'll be done on her
pupil and the
website,
teacher.
yeah.
Oh, it will be on the
Yeah,
website.
yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, it's
Like,
commercial.
you're taking the
Thank you.
class.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Thank you for asking those great
All right.
questions.
No other
Trying to
questions?
help you out.
Oh,
Mr.
thank you.
Mr. Barker,
No.
Mr. Boone,
Yes.
Dr. Hutton,
No.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
No.
Mayor Goodwin.
No. We have to work through
Thank
that
you very much.
commercial process. Now, next, for the next 35 minutes,
Well, hello, thanks for having me. I'm here to discuss FAB's 3 upcoming events that we have. I just wanted to let everybody know, we obviously came in and did our save the dates, I believe it was in July. And I held the safety meeting last week prior to Lacey's departure. So that's why all of these are kind of coming across at once. So I guess I'll talk about the first one is the polar plunge. There's a little bit of a typo on this that I apologize for. The plan for the polar plunge, of course, is on the beachfront behind the tides as usual. Low tide is at 10 a.m. that day, so our plan was to start registration for the costume contest at 9, do the costume contest at 10, and then the plunge at 11. I apologize, it says 8 in one spot, which is incorrect. So 9, 10, and 11 respectively, with everyone hopefully clearing the beach around 12. The Tides has events planned that afternoon from 12 to 5, which should take everybody back hotel side. We will have an MC to manage the costume contest, and we will have security out on the beach for crowd control. So that's kind of the plunge in a quick summary. It's kind of very similar to what we've done in years past. We will have some t-shirts that we will be selling out on the beach as well. So, any questions?
Motion to approve?
well, you already had all these dates approved.
Save the dates,
Yeah,
yes.
this is just
This is like a
information.
kind of
Okay.
final
Fine.
approval, I guess, to run them. Yeah. So does there need to be a vote or no? Just review? Okay. So Taste of Folly is next. Again, very similar to its previous format. We will do the cocktail competition on private property at the Tides on Friday night. Saturday, we will have security there for that event as well. It's a ticketed event. Saturday will be the street closure. Based on our safety meeting, the plan, we will begin setup probably around 6:30, moving barricades into place. At 7 a.m., the plan is to bring out a fire truck or similar to block the streets at Huron. We will continue setup until the event opens at 10 a.m. The event will run from 10 to like 3:30, 3:45 when we start trying to get our guests to exit. And then we will have the cleanup crew come in, street cleaner, reopening the streets by 6 p.m. Is typically what we've done in the past. The event is largely the same. The only thing that might be slightly different is we are looking at bringing back kind of the chili cook-off, one pot throwdown that we had to discontinue during COVID for safety reasons. We are looking to bring that back this year. So we are going to continue our alcohol-free kid zones because that was really effective last year. Of course, same security crew, restrooms, event staff, things like that. Yeah. Any questions?
For both Taste of Folly and Sea and Sam, just for the record, can you confirm that there will be no charge for residents with showing government issued photo ID?
Absolutely, yes. There's never charge for residents, yes, and kids under 12. So, yeah. And of course, we'll get day of insurance. And then Sea and Sand, again, largely the same with setup, you know, beginning around 6:30, fire truck at 7, the event running from 10 to 4, streets reopening at 6. And we will be utilizing the same vendors for that, actively working to make sure that they all get their business licenses. So, yeah, largely the same as in years past, nothing major changing there. So, any questions or concerns? Okay. Okay. And I guess that brings me to the ice rink. Which is obviously a new event, and I'm going to welcome Vince up as the chairman for the Tourism and Visitors Promotion Committee.
Good evening. I'm here, as she said, on behalf of the Tourism and Visitors Promotion Committee. And our committee wanted to do something special for the community for the holidays. So we created the Folly Park, which will be held at 202 East Arctic, the 2 lots that are across the street from Burt's going towards the ocean. And we're gonna create a winter wonderland there and have a skating rink that is open to the public. On the left side, the first lot, we're gonna create a winter wonderland that has holiday decorations, lights, some snow, holiday music playing, and we're gonna be open from 3 to 9 on the 23rd. 11 to 9 on the 24th, and again 3 to 9 on the 25th. We actually wanted to do a test pilot this year with the hopes of expanding it in the future if all goes well. So we're going to see how this goes. We enlisted the help of Events on the Edge to coordinate some of the details. There should be a diagram in your packet outlining what is going to happen, and we're here tonight to answer any questions, and we also want to ask for permission for vendors to set up on site.
The other side kind of shows the lights, what the lights are going to look like.
So I have a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
So I got a question. I'm looking at your map. I didn't see where you're parking the EMS truck.
For the
skaters.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, we don't need one.
The people providing the rink have it totally insured, and it's their liability.
Yeah.
So the people running the rink, we made sure of that one.
Hopefully nobody gets hurt.
Fingers crossed.
So it looks to me like this is a great program, package deal. You went and solicited someone that does this for a living. And pretty much these are the rules. This is a diagram. County Park is fine.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
The only other question I got is, how many vendors are you talking about?
We will have, no more than 3 each night. So, Bert's being one that's going to be consistently there every night, and then the other, they change throughout the night based on availability because it is the holidays, but we'll have no more than 3.
Okay.
Will the restrooms across the street be open?
By the beach?
Oh.
Yeah, restrooms, what are you doing for restrooms?
That's a good suggestion.
We have not talked about the rest.
Yeah.
I'm sure we probably could get them.
Yeah, I'm sure, hopefully we can.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, that's a
Good question.
valid question.
That's a good one.
Yeah. We can, let's make another.
Bert's restroom's a lot warmer.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yes.
And you have the chair.
Did we or staff previously approve this event?
No, you're doing it right now.
Yeah, so I'd just like to go on record and say, for anyone else that wants to do something like this in the future, probably a good idea to get our consent before you advertise. So I saw it in the paper, and then I saw it on the agenda, and I thought that the two were sort of backward in timing. I still think it's a great event, I'm gonna support it, but
No,
I just wanted to
that's
kind of
good insight.
make that known.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is on
The
property.
only thing they
Yeah.
were
But-
for was
but
over the amount of
However,
vendors.
if we said no now, I don't want anyone in the future to come before us, think they have something in the bag and then it fail and they're, out of money or
We're only approving the
egg on
number of
face,
vendors.
etc.
We're only approving the number of vendors, not the event itself.
Yeah.
If it's on private property, do whatever you want on private property, it's the number of vendors goes over our ordinance.
Well, I support 3 vendors as well.
But the land is owned by the county park.
Correct.
And you
That's
work
correct.
with them.
It's county,
That's
yes.
And you've got approval from them
Yes.
in writing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's better than a boat man.
Yeah. Now that we are looking at it more, yes.
Okay, any other questions? Mr. Pope?
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mr. Broom,
Yes.
Mr. Barger,
Yes.
Mayor Goodman,
Yes.
passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Great idea.
So, Mr. Forster?
Yes, sir.
Am I pronouncing it right?
You're close enough.
Okay. Give us
Good
your
evening,
name
folks.
and addresses, here.
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Guy Forster. I live out in Arwindale. Lovely to be down in Folly. So what I'd like to talk about is a touch rugby tournament that we're just giving you some information about and not asking for permission yet. That's kind of the purpose of tonight. So I run a non-profit here in South Carolina called Rugby CHS. And our mission is to promote the growth of high school rugby teams in and around the greater Charleston area. So we're currently working with Oceanside, who've just started a team last year, Lucy Beckham, which is in Mount Pleasant, that have just started a team literally this year, and also trying with James Island and Bishop England and so on. And so one of the things we want to do is organize a tournament on the beach, touch rugby, 5 players aside, as a means to kind of promote the sport, get a whole bunch of kids together and play rugby together, and use it as a fundraiser for some of these new teams. Because some of the things that are sort of one of the biggest challenges at starting new teams, especially at the high school level, is all these rugby teams are clubs in the schools. They get 0 support from their schools. Literally, they don't even get fields. We have to find fields for them to play on. So as part of this fundraiser, we want to use that to be able to buy jerseys, balls, pads, pay for fields and things like that. So we want to get teams together, all local teams, but also teams from North Carolina and so on, and do it in kind of the fall time frame. So outside of regular tourist season, so there's not a lot of traffic and all those kinds of things, and also so we can support some of the local vendors outside of the normal tourist season, and bring as many teams as we can, high school youth kids, down to the area and have just a fun day of playing rugby on the beach. And the nice thing about that is no one ever plays sport on the beach really. And so we would put flags on the beach, and if you see the little diagram that we had put together, because it's 5 aside, we don't need a regular full-size field that you typically would, which would be the equivalent of a soccer field. They're really small, so like 200 feet by about 120 feet. And it doesn't even have to be that size. So we literally could stake it out with some flags, and even if the tide rose up, it's tons of fun playing in the water too. So we just want to have a fun day, getting all these kids running around, raising some money for all their rugby programs, as much as we can, obviously, and support the local businesses in town.
So when, you have a motion to approve?
He's not asking for approval.
Yeah, just
I
information.
know, but
To discuss it.
that's right, that's right, he's not asking for approval. So when were you planning to do this?
So this would be in the fall timeframe, so sort of October, November
A year
timeframe.
from now, basically?
Yes, sir.
I have one question, how do you play flag rugby?
It's actually very simple. So when someone has the ball, you just touch them. And that's the equivalent of a tackle, I guess, in football. When you get touched, you put the ball down, you pass it, and you keep going.
And the only reason I asked is my grandson started playing rugby, football wasn't enough. And
Nice.
I asked him, I knew nothing about rugby. I said, so explain to me what
Yeah.
position you play. And he said, the easiest way for me to explain this is, I'm the guy with the ball at the bottom of the pile when we start. Doesn't sound like a good position for me.
It's probably, this will sound strange, but it sounds like he's a hooker in rugby.
I guess
That's
so.
a name. That's a name of a person.
I'll ask him that next time.
Ask him, are you the hooker? And
I'll
you'll know
ask him.
exactly what you're doing.
I'll ask him.
wrong on so many levels.
So yeah, there won't be any contact. It's all non-contact. So literally, you touch the guy, and then he has to get rid of it.
Okay, so I would say just get some more of this information together and keep working with our events group
Yeah.
here at the city, and then when it gets time to come back to really
Awesome.
nail it down, I'm talking about
Absolutely.
nailing it down.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
interesting.
Great.
I would recommend targeting November afterwards. October is still somewhat busy here on the
Okay.
beach.
Yeah.
Run into other people.
Oh, that'll be fun. Yep. And that actually works out well because we normally have some tournaments that we play in October in North Carolina, and then there's sort of a gap in November anyway, so it'll probably work out pretty well. Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll see each other again, I'm sure.
Mr. McKevlin. Oh, there he is. Hide in the background.
Hey there. You got here too late. No, everybody's here about the signs, right?
Yeah.
My name is Tim McKevlin. I own McKevlin Surf Shop at 8 Center Street. I live on James Island. And would it be possible if I could let Brian hand out some papers?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Just give you a reference.
Brian Eichelman is the manager, and he lives out here on the beach. What we are requesting is hopefully the mayor and council to just take a look at sign ordinance 166.08-06, which only allows one 20-square-foot sign per side in the commercial area. This ordinance doesn't take into account the size of any building, as did the previous ordinance, which was 166.08-05. The 05 ordinance states that a business is allowed up to 20% of the front of the building for signs and up to 25% on the sides and the rear. The 06 ordinance sort of contradicts that. In the case of our building at 8 Center Street, we have two side walls that are 880 square feet. One faces Ashley side and one faces the ocean. Right now, we have kind of a clutter of 11 signs up there on the East Ashley facing side, and on the ocean facing side, we have 15 signs out there. We want to do better. What we're proposing is that we'd have one sign on each side. It would actually be painted on the wall, so it wouldn't have to be a signboard or anything. And that would only take up 13% of the wall space, so it's way below what the rules were. On the rear of our building, we're planning just one sign there as well that would only occupy 9% of the rear wall. And on the front, all we're looking for are two small signs that only take up 4% of the front of the wall. We're going for a much cleaner, uncluttered look. That's what we're trying to do. We've already spent in the neighborhood of around $40,000 on some contracting work on the siding and the flooring of the deck out front, and we've painted and got some new doors. So we're really trying to make our corner just look a lot better than it currently does. And I think what we're doing by making it so much simpler and so much cleaner is really, it is in agreement with and kind of follows what the original purpose and intent of the whole sign regulation thing was. The newer, more restrictive ordinance that you have now, I think it will affect other buildings going down the line. If, say, Ocean Surf Shop or Tides even, or even Harris Teeter were to need new signs, or somebody comes in and buys them out and it's a new company or whatever, you can imagine what a 20 square foot sign on a Harris Teeter would look like. It's already actually, since the new sign ordinance was put in, it's actually been modified by several businesses recently, or by the Design and Review Board. Hotel Folly, for instance, was allowed to use more than 20 square feet on the front of their building, but they did that because it didn't have a sign on the back. So they were allowed to sort of swap space from the back to the front. Taco Boy has kind of the same instance. Their the sign in their front of their building is around 66 square feet, but they don't have any signs on the sides or on the back. Their walls just aren't visibly really easy to see, so they don't need signs there. Bounty Bar, which is a much smaller business, but they don't have side walls either that anybody can see. They're butted up against other buildings, and they have an oversized sign as well. I guess in a way we're unfortunate. We have 4 sides that everybody can see and is visible to the public. We'd like to have some kind of identification on each one of those sides. We were granted a meeting with the Design and Review Board. It was scheduled for December 5th to show them our proposed signs, but we were told that the city wouldn't recommend our plan based on this current ordinance that you have, the 06, so the meeting was canceled. That's why we're here. That's kind of our only option that we can see, is to come to the mayor and council and plead that somebody can take a look at it. And, you can look at the pictures of what we've got there. The first 4 photos there show what's currently the signage, and the next 3 show what the new signage is that we're proposing. It looks so much better, we think. The very last page shows you what a 20 square foot sign would look like on that 880 square foot wall. Do you folks have any questions for us about any of that so far?
So we making a motion to approve this variance, we discuss it?
Second.
Because I have questions. And I have questions not so much of them.
Well, he's asking that you look at the ordinance, so.
We're not trying to pressure anybody.
We gave Ties the variance for their sign. So we can, I mean, this is a much cleaner look. I don't know what, if you're getting rid of 11 signs, putting up 3, this is such a cleaner look. I find it hard that if they're following an ordinance, I know they're following the letter of the law, but the intent of the law is different.
We have to get that question answered from Mr. Wilson about, can we, well, I don't know that we can actually give the variance.
We gave Tides the variance. I distinctly remember the meeting and the vote. I know it was 10 years ago, but we did.
Well, we gave them a variance for lighting.
Yes.
It wasn't the size.
And the size, because it was such a big building that they wanted to go over when they replaced the old Holiday Inn sign. I remember because a certain council member and I discussed it in depth afterwards, like, do we do the right thing? It looked too big going on the aisle. It wasn't. So we have, and it cleans it up so much. I find it, if our ordinance says that this isn't a good thing, I think it's another one that we might need to reevaluate, because it's, in my mind, you're getting rid of 11 and you're only putting back 3. It's kind of a no-brainer in my mind. It's a lot cleaner, it's less distractive, it achieves the goals of what the original ordinance was trying to do.
But I guess what my question would be is, even though the city wouldn't go recommend this to the DRB, why did we not have a meeting anyway?
This was a specially called meeting for this application, and I called the meeting.
Oh, that's right, it was a special meeting, it wasn't a standard meeting.
And then after I read the application further, I realized they didn't meet the ordinance, so then I said, we don't have anything to take to DRB because it doesn't meet the ordinance.
Yeah, we had to follow that ordinance.
But they can
and she
go to
explained that.
DRB and ask for a variance,
No, if you want a variance, they go to BZA.
BZA.
Yes. That's where it got all crazy, and we're like, hey, we get on the council and talk to you guys, because we,
Well, but that's why we have a Board of Zoning Appeals,
Yeah.
is because then the next step is blah, 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 blah.
yeah. And we, and,
I would say this would be a continuous until we get a,
I'm fine with that. We've said that lately, but we have given plenty of variances in the past for things just like this.
well, we're gonna make sure that we can do it right.
That's perfectly fine, but if not, are we going backwards on all the other variances that we gave?
You go back and show where we did one that we didn't. What? Yeah.
Are we saying just, that what we're going to do is speak with the attorney and then do some research and come back to us? Or are we referring it to another board?
No, it's gonna come back to us, and then he'll say, this is what you gotta do, or this is what you're gonna have to do. And we'll get with Mr. McKelvin and explain where we're gonna go and what we're gonna do.
I'm just trying to, yeah, get some interest in.
Get back with Brian. I don't know if I can catch Tim or not, but I can catch Brian.
I'll come to you. All our contact information is on there.
Yeah.
Communication with you guys and try to hopefully figure something out.
Okay, well, this was great, I mean, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll get, it might not be a Christmas present, but we'll get back with it.
We won't hold our breath or anything. But we weren't trying to pressure you guys into
No.
making some kind of decision tonight. We were just hoping you could take another look at it.
We will do that.
Thank you.
I like what you have here. What you've shown on page 6, is that going to be the same on the other side of the building?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, it was like,
Thank you.
when you looked at the pictures, it was, well, that looks a whole lot better.
We think so. The guy who came up with it is really a good creative designer. He lives on the beach now and he's world famous.
He's an Emmy Award over his.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's very classic looking.
We're lucky to make friends
If
with
you
him.
told me this picture were taken in the 60s or 70s, I would believe that.
That's kind of what we're doing.
That
for you.
picture is from the original McKevlin surf shop when it was behind the bowling alley. None of us were here yet. That is the type of it we wanted to recapture the original McKevlin.
How long have the current signs been up there?
Since the-
Forever.
28
28
years probably.
Don't we have an ordinance that anything's over 25 years
It can stay, but we can't adjust. We have to do the zoning process.
I know,
They're not asking to keep the signs,
I know,
that's for sure.
I know.
Yeah, you don't want
I know
that.
it.
Is the building in the Morris building?
Pretty good, exactly.
It could be.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so no boards or commission reports this evening.
Coach, you missed.
Any citizen comments this evening?
I have a comment, and I know we can't talk about the petition, but I would like to, first of all, my name's Sam Meter. My wife and I live at 318 East Arctic Avenue here on Folly Beach. We are owners of 8 short-term rental licenses. I'm also a real estate agent, and I manage 5 other properties. So, first of all, I want to congratulate Mr. McFarland on getting the signatures verified, and thank all of you for the process of the last year to get to this point, what looks like will be a citizen vote. And I wondered if council or the city or maybe the Civic Club, Dr. Houghton, if there is a way to have a city-sponsored event to hear
Not a city
voices
sponsored
on
event.
both sides. It seems like there's been a lot of misinformation on
Well,
social media.
there's not a city-sponsored event because the city's not getting involved in the petition. The new president of the Civic Club, I understand, has been looking at trying to pull something together, so Ms. Ray is trying to pull something together, and that'll
Okay.
be announced if she
Oh,
gets it done.
okay. Wise. So, all right, so it's a possibility through Civic Club, we reach out and set up some type of meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, happy holidays.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Omar Cologne, Barks Market, and various short-term rental licenses. I heard you say that the city's not involved in the petition.
No.
Have y'all hired staff to enact?
Nope.
Staff's not being trained right now?
Who, to enact what?
The staff that's being trained, that was mentioned earlier today in the workshop, who's that staff? And what are they being
That's,
trained for?
that staff was from the petition of the citizens who came in here and said, hire people to make sure that the ordinances you have in place right now are enforced. That's what that staff is for.
Okay. And have you been on the record of saying that succession's gonna stop and people in New York that you can't get a hold of is gonna hate it when their rentals go away?
No,
When the Folly Current, you said that.
I did not say that. I didn't say anything about it. Somebody's gonna hate it when their rentals go
You said the people in New York that you can't get a hold of, they're certainly gonna respond when they lose their short-term rental license.
I said that would cause them to have to respond.
Right. And so the city certainly is involved in this.
But that has nothing to do with the petition. That has to do with rules and regulations that's already in effect right now for short-term rental licenses with the 3-strike deal.
That were added.
That you're at, no, that you have today on the books. Nothing added.
Do you have no, okay.
We're not adding a thing, we're not adding staff, nothing to do with the petition.
So you've not voiced any leaning either way for either side of this petition?
No.
On record?
On record or off record. Anybody ask me, I tell them I'm not participating.
Remember me?
Yeah?
First of all, I am so sick that I have to be. It breaks my heart.
Well, wait a minute now, what are you
Oh, I'm
gonna?
sorry, my name is Star Atchison, I feel y'all knew. My name is
So are
Star.
you gonna talk about the petition?
No, I'm gonna tell you something, not about the petition.
Okay.
I just think, as Mr. Sentiment said, there have been so many of us that were left not knowing what was going on. Yes, I got it in the mail, but it, to me, was a joke, okay? I'm just saying.
That
when
has
you've been
nothing
here-
to do with the city council.
It doesn't, so you're saying it will go to referendum? I
If
thought
they
that's what
vote
you.
for it to go to referendum.
So
they
when will that vote happen?
In about 5 minutes, if we all.
Oh, we can
let 'em
all,
get to it.
okay, so the vote's getting ready to happen.
Yep.
Whether you will, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm shaking like a leaf. I hate this. I hate confrontation. You know me, you know my heart. But there are a lot of people like me on this island that can only stay here if we short-term rental. And what breaks my heart
Man,
is-
we've already heard all of that.
No, you
and
didn't hear me.
We've heard it from everybody else.
Okay, well, listen to me.
And that's
This
why
is
we
my
were
one
not doing
question.
this tonight.
Okay, then let me ask you a question. I'm shaking like a leaf and I hate this. I
Okay.
hate it. You know I hate it. But I saw your name on their petition.
So, I'm a citizen.
I thought that, okay, so I thought you weren't supposed to be involved one way or the other.
I'm not advocating, I'm
Yeah,
not
well, that does.
campaigning.
That
Either
does
way.
advocate. See, and you're in Charlotte's
I'm
name
a,
on there.
I'm a
advocates.
petition, I'm a citizen, I can sign a petition
Well,
as
and
a
I'm a
citizen if I
citizen and
want
I've
to.
been here a very long time. And I
And
want
you
to say
can
this,
sign or
I
not sign.
cannot leave my home to my children.
Ma'am, we're done. Have a seat. Thank you.
Pardon me? This
Have
is
a-
why we
have a
need the
seat.
referendum.
Thank you. That's where we're going. Have a seat.
Thank
you. Anybody else? Not about the petition, not about short-term rentals.
I promise. Megan Vogel, 1611 East Ashley. I have more of a question, and it has to do with the graffiti that, is on the walk going all the way out east. So I know that everybody was great about the walk, but I don't know if you've all been out there recently. We talk about people vacationing here, bringing young families. I have taken 10, 20 photos of graffiti with terrible language, terrible, that nobody would ever want their children to see. There's images now that people are drawing that are really inappropriate, and I'm just wondering if there's anything, as a town, as a city, that we want to do, can do.
That belongs to the county parks. They went in there and they covered it over time and time again. And that's their property, and we've talked to them about hiring somebody to be down there. I mean, you need to contact those guys.
Really?
The ones that tagged our stuff though, Rocky got them, right? They tagged City Hall and the houses down the road, so in our
Yeah.
jurisdiction, we did handle it.
In our jurisdiction we do,
Yeah.
but that's,
Thank you.
May I speak about the moratorium? It's hard to speak about the moratorium without mentioning the petition.
Don't mention
the petition.
Oh.
Okay. Well.
see how hard it is.
It's very difficult to do that. Let me just say that the level of ISTRs at the beginning of this process, when the mayor made the recommendation for council, was about 33%, and since then it's gone to 46%. So I'm asking City Council that they please advance the moratorium, because I think if the moratorium is dropped, we'll see another advance. And what will it be? 65%? Who knows? here is my plea on behalf of the 478 voters.
No.
Okay. I would just say that the fairest thing to do is to move the referendum along as quickly as possible, keep the moratorium in place, and let all of the citizens have a chance to voice their opinion on what the level of ISTR is going to be. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a small thing to say. Julia Cologne, 1820 Solidarity, Charleston, South Carolina. Very small. Thomas Paine, the only purpose for the government is to limit the government. Each of you took an oath to that effect to protect our Constitution and the people's private rights. It's not to provide us with services or anything else other than limiting the overreach of the government.
Anybody else?
I'd like to say something on the moratorium. My name is Tom Powers, 107 South Gum Street, Somerville, South Carolina, former Folly Beach resident, possible future one, and certainly someone that cares about Folly Beach too. The moratorium is absolutely negatively affecting people that own property on Folly Beach today. It has affected their ability to sell their property in the way that they have seen fit before this mess started. A referendum seems like it's going to come. I think a lot of people would agree on both sides of the issue that that's welcome and fair. That's probably going to come pretty quick. In the meantime, there's a lot of people that live in places like Mariners Cay that recently got freedom from their HOA but then had the moratorium come on them. They can't exercise their rights and their intentions that they had before this mess started that have been taken away. I don't think it's going to turn to 80% overnight if the moratorium was lifted with special considerations. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
My name's Mary Cato. I live at 1636 East Ashley. I'm asking that you leave the moratorium in place. I heard you say that your staff has recommended that to you. We are already way beyond the number of STRs out here. We're about to vote on it. It's only a little bit longer. We'll be through the vote. If it fails, people can apply for the license. We don't need more STRs out here right now. We're trying to get our staff in place.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ann Peets, 606 West Beach Court. I just wanted to make some comments on the moratorium as well. I'm pitching in with a dedicated team of Folly Beach residents who are working hard to research and confirm the actual sources and published data-based facts around the moratorium and also other areas as well. So first, I just wanted to actually say a heartfelt thank you to the City Council, to the city staff, including Aaron, Joe, Lee, Stacy, council members, and those who aren't here, the voter commission, real estate attorneys, board of elections, accountants and tax officials who are helping us answer a lot of those questions and put out the facts. So we really do appreciate that. We appreciate your time and bravery to help us get the facts, share the sources, and most importantly, to let us quote you to the citizens who are wondering what's going on. So I have the courage to put my name out on the social media sites for Folly Beach Residents Association, but sadly there are hundreds of people behind the scenes that I'm speaking of for because they're too intimidated to stand up online and make their faces known and to say their names. For fear of being harassed and alienated from their neighbors, friends, and employers, but know that we are speaking for them. Sadly, I've also heard some nasty stories in the last week about our elderly and senior citizens being harassed in their yards, yelled at across their fences, being badgered with unwanted signs, being denigrated and shouted at for their views. This is not the Folly Beach community that we all know and love. Folly's heart is breaking, and so we need you to extend this moratorium so that we can civilly move as quickly as possible to this referendum or the closure of this whole situation. Please hear all of us as voters and residents, and it's very important to us, so thank you.
Thank you. All right. So, we'll move on to ordinance 33-22, ordinance of Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 17, by including language proposed by citizen petition to define owner-occupied and investment short-term rentals licenses and limit the number of investment short-term rental licenses to 800. Have a motion for approval? Have a motion for approval? So no motion, it fails, it goes to a referendum. The 30-day clock starts ticking tomorrow or today? Today. And we will be in touch with the Folly Beach Charleston County Voters Group to get that done as soon as possible. And as soon as we know, everyone will know. Move on to ordinance 34-22, ordinance to extend the moratorium on the issuance of new business licenses for short-term rentals within the city of Folly Beach due to verification of citizen initiative petition to establish a cap on short-term rentals. Have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a question. We spoke about it at the work session, that you had there's a small handful of licenses that, through one hardship or another, that need to go to the building license official or business license official. It's not spelled out in here. Do we need to spell it out, or are they going through?
No,
I just wanna make sure before we get this over with.
All those folks who got a question, staff directs them to the appeals process. They give them to Joe. Joe sends them, they get the information, they give it to Joe. Joe sets up the date, and they go through the appeal.
Just double
They
check.
win the appeal, they get their license.
Just double checking, thank you.
Okay.
Just a question. It's 3 months. If it's sooner, then we end it. So,
Right.
okay.
Any other questions? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Broom?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
No.
Mayor Goodman?
Yes.
Passes.
Ordinance 35-22, ordinance rezoning the high ground of Long Island and the associated small marsh islands, including Palm Island, from residential single-family to Marsh Island residential, and amending the official zoning map to reflect said changes in order to implement the goals of the 2020 comprehensive plan. Do I have a motion to remand this to planning?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
On the planning. Resolution 48-22, resolution Folly Beach City Council adopting the 2023 regular meeting calendars for Folly Beach City Council, Planning Commission, Design Review Board, Parks and Recreation Board, and the official holiday calendar. Have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments?
I do have just a thought. Is there any way, it's maybe not this year, and there is a budget impact, but there are certain holidays that we don't recognize, let's say veterans. Later on, when we go to budget, can we discuss that?
If y'all wanna add holidays,
Yes.
that would have to be through the budget, then you'd have to amend your personnel manual.
Okay. That's,
Okay,
yeah, veterans,
Okay? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Broom?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes.
Resolution 49-22, resolution by Folly Beach City Council authorizing the administration to pay Weston and Sampson an additional $10,000 for grant writing and RFP development related to water main replacement and stormwater improvement grant applications. Have a motion?
to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Broom?
Yes.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes.
Resolution 50-22, resolution by Folly Beach City Council authorizing the payment of $1,200 from the council discretionary fund to the Folly Beach Exchange Club for sponsorship of the 2023 Folly Beach Exchange Club Golf Tournament.
Motion to approve.
I should say Exchange Club / Fab Golf Tournament. Have a second?
Second.
Mr. Pope.
Just
Any discussion?
There are certain programs that we do every year that are annual. This is one, So what I would suggest at budget, another suggestion is we just, again, later on, we budget them, we put them in the budget, and then they're in there rather than have to go to discretionary, so I support them, the civic, all the clubs. Seniors get the same thing, and it's, again, it's a suggestion for in February.
Anybody else? Mr. Booth?
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes.
I'm glad to spend your discretionary.
Passes.
Mr. Grooms, got anything to say?
Certainly, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, including Mayor and Miss Charlotte, council members, city staff, and residents, and their neighbors on James Island as well. So, Exchange Club is doing a Christmas party at Planet Hollywood Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Bring a gift, 6, 7, whatever time, yeah, somewhere like that.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
He'll be there.
That's all I got.
Just a couple of quick things. It was amazing. I love being the president of the Civic Club. I'm still around. I'll be helpful. Don't worry about a thing. But yes, it's Amy Ray.
She's been waiting all night. What's the phone number?
People. And the other thing is, I was really lucky that the mayor asked me to go to some education meetings in downtown and all that good stuff. So I do want to make a comment that it's really important that we become engaged and look at the education things that are happening at the upper levels as far as eliminating certain curriculums and things of that nature. That's the other hat that I wear. You know, that's me as a previous dean. So it was a great sort of re-entry, but we need to jump on these things so our children are well educated. In addition to that, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year.
Happy holidays and try not to kill each other over the next 2 months. But to get at all that, just don't kill each other over the next 2 months.
Uber. All right, one motion to adjourn?
So moved. On the record at 8 o'clock.